Welcome to our Wednesday soiree. As you can tell, this day is Pick Your Own Poison Day. So I selected 7 of my favorite poisons to put up on the screen before we get started. Of course, there is poison. Of course, poison itself, wonderful. There is drink me, not poison, honest. So, of course, you're going to drink that bottle. There's little poisonous apple, little Adam and Eve allegory. Of course, Poison himself. Yes, Alice Cooper. Poison, great song. Little Poison from Batman. Little Batman and Robin Poison. And that girl is poison. One of the greatest songs of all time. And Jeffrey getting his comeuppance. You ready to go main, baby?
Not yet. I got to sit back down and put on my headphones.
Never trust a big button and smile. That girl is poison.
I mean, I feel like sometimes you can trust a big button and smile.
There we go. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Stephanie. So nice to see you.
Here, babe. Oh, she's still getting her stuff together.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's been a pretty laid-back Wednesday because, we're going to get to that in a moment. But there's a reason it's laid-back Wednesday. There was a little bit of celebrating last night, and the FDO may have celebrated a little bit too hard, and that is why my drink for the evening on Choose Your Own Poison Day is coffee. It's been a long day. At any rate.
Steve says scene has doubled audio. I don't know what that means.
Here's where I'm having trouble. I'm going to have to keep switching this. Now they'll only hear the one. Oh, I know what to do. Wait, let's try this. How about now? Should have one audio, and then that's what I did wrong last time when I flipped out. So, Stephen King, we're always in the auditorium, baby.
Stephen, dude, I was so excited by your post this morning.
Thank you,
I don't remember
Thank you, Steve.
anything like that. You have this great, beautiful recollection of a formative time in your life. For you guys who don't know Stephen King personally, he's a good friend of mine and Scott's. And today he posted that, I think it was like 20 years ago today or tomorrow, he moved into his first apartment for the first time in Chicago, like moved out on his own.
Good point, Brian.
And it was it was a lovely post, and I've been thinking about it all day. I'm like, I don't remember anything like that from 20 years ago. So it was moving, and I loved it. Anyhow, signed the lease. 20 years ago today, you signed the lease. Yeah.
Very, very good.
I loved it so much.
All right. Let's get on with it, you guys. As you can tell, I might be a little bit out of it. Let's go back to Maine.
I need one.
Oh, you need one? There you go. That's for you. Here you go. This is for you.
We definitely write a script, you guys.
Hellos to the chat room. That's on the script. Coming up in this episode.
Ginia, so nice to see you.
Coming up in this episode, it is Pick Your Poison Day. We're going to, and then I didn't really get this done correctly. My bad. Pick Your Poison Day. We've got a huge update on Shakedown, book 1 of The Crypt. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff related to that stuff, which I can't tell you yet because I don't want to give you no spoilers. But don't forget, sign up. Uh-oh. There we go. There it is. Sign up for the newsletter. It was working. Sign up for the newsletter. Just do it. Don't be a schlub. Sign up for the newsletter. Get the newsletter. Also, the best way to get stuff is some of you are here because you just got a text because I've learned how to schedule the text now. So I write the text in the morning. I schedule it. Boom, it pops up at 6. You don't got to write nothing down. You don't got to put in your day planner. You don't got to go to the Franklin Planner store to get an outline of how to do things to watch SIGLERinPLACE.
Reagan, nice to see you.
As soon as it pops up on your phone, you hit the link. Go where you want to watch it. But you should all be signed up. Send SIG text to 855-955-5095 because we're about to unload an entire splooge of marketing strategy. It could be a couple weeks, couple months, but there's a sploosh waiting for all of you. So if you want to get that sploosh, you should definitely be signed up for the text. Plus, somewhere you get 10% off.
I like this nude lip.
The nude lip? Okay.
I like this color.
And let us not forget, let's turn that off. And coming up, do I have that wrong? That already happened.
What?
I got the date wrong.
You did, yeah, but the next one is July 2nd. And I've missed the last couple of months since I miss you guys. So I'll be there on July 2nd because still COVID, still all the things.
Nick, I got news for you coming up, buddy. Tracy Turgid Sploosh, absolutely. Is anybody, if you are drinking anything on Choose Your Own Poison Day, I see Mel put in some spicy mead that Mel is having. So you guys, today is the 10th anniversary of Prometheus, Mike. Oh my God, that's just... Did not need to be reminded of getting older. Did not need to be reminded of that movie at all. Didn't need to be reminded.
I feel like Mike is a little spicy
Didn't need to be reminded of that movie. Not that I'm maddening. Okay, and let's see. Mel's got scotch and Coke. Who else is everybody drinking?
Generally, you're so sweet.
Just a Diet Coke for Reagan? All right, cool. All right, everybody, let's get into it. Now it is time for...
Ooh, 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 ooh.
That's they were contemporaries of Belle Biv DeVoe.
Matt Moretti, Scott slept in a tiny bit, not too much, and then had a coffee this morning, and then at around 5 o'clock made more coffee because he's having a big day.
Having a big day. Carrie Cadet's having a Coors Light. I wish I could join you in that one, but I think I overdid it last night. Let's go back to the main.
Ooh, Angry Orchard, some wine.
But
nice.
Real quick, the reason I overdid it is because we're watching season 3 of The Boys, and I'm completely blown away by the writing in The Boys this year. 3 episodes into season 3, I think this might be in my top 5 writing, plotting, planning, interacting of all time. We're just blown away with it because even the secondary and tertiary characters, these actors have been given here's a heaping pile of delicious acting stuff that you may turn into your own recipe. Everybody's got stuff to work with. All the plot lines are interlinking. It's super fun. So we stayed up and got drunk. Watched it. That's what happened.
Yeah, we did.
That's a fact.
So
That's
a couple things. Jenna Leah, Diet Coke is never boring.
Nope.
Breakfast of Champions.
Yep.
Not gonna lie. Richard Bennett. I have no idea what vodka milk is, but I would love to know.
Oh, I don't think I ever want to know what vodka milk
I'm not
is.
saying I want to try it, but also there's a discussion going on about crisp apple cider, and we have tried a handful of ciders, but they're a little too sweet for us.
Knob Creek Old Fashioned.
So I might try that though, because if it's I want something tart, more tart.
Is Jensen Ackles, is that boring? Is that booze, or is somebody in the room that Shannon knows whose name is Jensen Ackles?
I think he's an actor. He's in.
Oh, he's in it. Okay,
yeah, he's
great.
in it.
Shannon,
Ooh,
tell me what part Jensen plays, because right now we're just blown away. Anthony, whatever his nuts is, who plays Homelander.
Oh my God,
magnificent. Everybody in that show. I'm so pumped about it. Can't wait for the next episode to come out. So now that we're done talking about other people's...
he's Soldier Boy.
Oh, he's Soldier Boy?
He's Soldier Boy.
He's doing a very good job.
He's doing it.
He's so creepy, so good. Now that we're done talking about other people's work, other people's petty...
Probably like a White Russian. That's probably...
Petty, unimportant work. The little things other people do, because it's not about me. It's not about...
Which?
Well, let's take a look. Let me roll up under the sidewalk and take a look here. Whoa, she's beautiful. All right, here we go. Coming up, we have. I got to tell you right now, we have the rookie episode, adult episode 2 is up. The rookie adult version episode 1 is also up, and this coming week, of course, we do episode number 3. It's the version of the rookie with all the swears, and you can subscribe to that at scottsigler.com/subscribe. There are many places where you can set yourself up. Many places you can set yourself up so that you can listen to all the goodies and get it automatically crammed in your ear holes every single Sunday, which is wonderful. But we're done with that now. Let's talk about what's much more important, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about The Crypt. Some of you may have been watching in the social media, saw that I was done with the first draft of The Crypt, and the heck, how did I do that? I know, I understand. You don't just move stuff. You never just move stuff because you never know what you're going to get rid of. The Crypt, sent it off yesterday. 104%. So when I went on Facebook and tweeted that I was done with the first draft of The Crypt, I was at 117,500, and then I had to spend 2 full days going through and formatting, and because I use this program called Scrivener, which has a lot of amazing advantages to it. It also is a giant train wreck for putting out. I just want a double-spaced manuscript in 12-point Courier. That's all I want. That takes. You have to set every chapter with a particular type of production. You have to then export it in Word. You have to go through the entire Microsoft Word to find out where there's weird things like this chapter is going to be bullet points all of a sudden. And this chapter is in italics with a 5-inch margin. So weird stuff like that happens, and it took a couple days. But as I was going through it and fixing things and jotting down notes to fix things, it bumped up another 5,000 words. So now we're at 122, 496.
Christine in the chat room, she's on Twitch, so not everybody will see this. But Christine just asked, how many guitars are getting out of guitar jail? And this is a great question because the answer is 0. It's the craziest thing. Now, if you guys don't know about guitar jail, a very quick refresher. Back when Scott first moved to San Diego in 2014, we had been working together since 2008. And he lived in San Francisco and I lived here. And he had started, when he moved to San Diego in 2014, he started ADHD coaching sort of work with a therapist who said, let's give you a goal. So if you don't complete your word count goal for the week, your business partner gets to take a base home with her and it stays there for a month. Fast forward to 2022 and we live in the same house because we got married and we just have this house now. But it doesn't matter because I met Scott in 2007. We started to work together at the end of 2008, and I've never seen him more focused than the last 61 days. He wrote every single day for the last 61 days, and he got 104% done with the Crypt Shakedown. And it was a lot. It was a lot
greetings.
Of taxing on him. It was hard on him. It was a little bit hard on us. It wasn't really hard for me, but it was definitely hard for him. He worked weekends. He literally wrote every day for the last 61 days. So there were no bases in jail, and I don't know how I'll put a base in jail anymore. I think I'll bring it to the storage unit, but then I don't want the base to get damaged in storage.
All the cases are in storage.
So.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't see this as a problem.
Hey, dude, nice to see you. I love you.
I don't see bass or guitar jail being an issue anytime soon. We're rolling. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So I want to let you guys know the Crypt has been sent off. Crypt Book 1, Shakedown, has been sent off to the publisher, to Athon Publishing. They have assigned an editor, but the editor has not contacted me yet. So I just sent it off this morning to Big John Vizcarra and to A, but A's working on some other important stuff right now. So she may not read this first draft. She may come in the second draft. So it'll be me, Big John, and whoever the publisher puts on it. We also have the military advisors, and I'm going to probably make them wait till the second draft because these are very busy people who have offered to share their expertise. We have a meeting like every other week on Zoom. They're putting in a lot of time to help me out with this. So I kind of want all the wrinkles ironed out. So when they read it, they're not worried about a paragraph of Comic Sans, or they're not worried about weird margins or horrible spellings, or wait, I thought this guy's name was Bob, his name is Steve. They'll get a whole thing, a very linear story, and then they will be able to apply their expertise to that's not how it works in the Navy, or that's a silly tactic for a small unit of commandos to do. So that's where we are with all that. But now we have to talk about what comes next. So what comes next is we got a couple things. We still have the Galactic Football League second draft, Book 7, second draft, is with us. And Nico, you missed all kinds of good stuff.
But howdy.
So but to jump in on that is, that's another 2 to 3 month commitment to get through that whole thing. So we're kind of a little hands off on that right now. What we're going to do is, because we have a contract that is pending. And this contract, we were solicited to write a book. Publisher sent us the contract. I wound up negotiating almost this whole thing. And then when I had the contract the way I want it, the publisher's like, okay, sounds good. But then it has to go to my agent at UTA. So Universal Talent Agency, Bird Level's our agent. He's got fancy lawyers there. They went through the contract and took a long time to do it and made a bunch of changes to it and sent that back over to the publisher. Publisher took a long time, sent it back with those changes incorporated and a few more suggested changes. Now it's at UTA. So now when that contract comes in and I sign it, we have to get rolling on that. And we've got that time worked in, but A has been adamant that we're not going to spend a minute on this until we have a signed contract. So when that comes in, we probably have to switch gears and do that. So between now and then, I will be outlining the Crypt Book 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you the title of that one yet.
So we've been, it's not quite right to say we've been burned before because as you guys all know, contracts are weird and hard sometimes, and it's not really a burned thing, but we have operated in good faith and had him write a story or had him start work or had him start research. Whoa. I don't know if you guys
That's
can
very
hear
loud,
that,
guys.
but
Sorry. I can hear it.
The
Woo!
dogs had a vet visit
It's
on
like,
Monday.
it's that loud. Like, I'm going to put it in my pocket, and that way you guys won't hear it next time. It's coming through the whole system.
But we've been, like I said, not burned before is the wrong term, but we've started work on a project that didn't come to fruition enough times that now it's the right thing to do to just not start work until there's a signed contract, because it's hard to recover from that, because often it's a specific request and then we can't really repurpose that into another story. So yeah, no work on that. GFL 7 is still in review. John Viscara, our continuity editor, has reviewed it and sent his notes back. I'm maybe halfway done, I think. And that won't come out in 2022, just so you know. We have a crypt book coming out with Aethon Books, and I think potentially another short story, right? But
Yeah, there's right now.
But GFL 7 is definitely 2023.
Right now, surprise to me, there are 2 short stories in the hopper. I knew I had one, which I haven't looked at in months. So there's 2 of those due. Then there's outlining the Crypt Book 2 and trying to get a larger. Hey, Richard, trying to get a larger outline of a kind of a broad outline of the next 4 books. And then also GFL Book 7, and then this surprise contract that is going to come in pretty soon. So that is what's going on. I'm trying to give you guys an insight on what's coming next. A lot of people, Tracy, no unicorn novel, not going to happen. A lot of people are hitting on like, when's the next GFL book? When's the next GFL book? And I'm like, you have to wait for the crypt, and now we might have this other one coming in. So it's all over the place. I took 2 days off, largely. Rearranged the office, though. Looks real nice in here. And tomorrow is a music day. I got to get caught up on some of the songwriting stuff I want to do. And then we're getting back to work on Friday.
He also got his second booster today. So hopefully tomorrow he won't be out of commission, because he was a little bit. Yeah,
it's not going to stop me. It's not. I'll just take a nap. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Alicia, isn't this the okay, so there's one for Reese too, as you already know, because you know these dogs personally. But oh my goodness, it's so big on Squeaky. But it's silicone, so it doesn't make a lot of noise, and that was a huge factor in the replacement. But I do think a clock would be good to add.
Brian, that's some excellent movie choices going on right there. All right, back to Maine, and now we are going to talk about, oh yes, tweet of the week. Lovely tweet of the week, very nice, made me happy. Let's see, tweet of the week, and that's not correct. Hold on a second, guys. Got to get rid of this. Oh, I see why I did that. Okay, there we go. And then tweet of the week from Reagan. It's time to get productive. Thanks for the inspiration. Got some egg timers, the basics.
These are great.
James, James was also talking about he's having trouble staying focused on stuff. So James, take a look at this. Was that James? Yes, James, take a look at this. This is what I do when I get in, which is basically every day. Like I'm overwhelmed with all the stuff going on here, and the dogs and the news and the awful stuff going on in the world. And then I wind up looking at sports, and I wind up going down this rabbit hole. And I don't realize, today I went to send it to check a tweet for this very thing. And then by the time I went to Twitter, by the time I looked up, 45 minutes had gone by, and I'd been following a Twitter rabbit hole and completely forgot. I only went there to get this very picture. Yeah. So, which is ironic, because my way of getting around that is I take one of these egg timers, like usually 15 minutes, set it right next to the computer, turn it upside down. And for me, there's something magical about this. Is an analog process, so there's no numbers that my brain has to look at and understand what the symbol is. There's no spinning second hand, there's no clock. It's just a steady stream of sand, so it doesn't distract me as much. And then when I'm working and I start to get distracted away from the book, I'll look at the sand timer and see there's still sand in the sand timer. And if there's sand in the sand timer, then I immediately turn my attention back to work. What happens is by the end of 15 minutes, usually I am all the way in. Sometimes it takes a second 15 minutes. Go and show them, baby.
So this is the 15-minute timer that Scott has, and I pulled it off the shelf behind you because Reagan says that is Reagan's tweet, and she's in the chat room on Twitch, and she says, I'm trying to figure out how they can help me at work. And so I wanted to say something that we just learned in the last couple of weeks, even though he's had sand timers for a while. Here's the thing. If you get interrupted, if a phone call happens, if somebody comes to the door, if your dogs start to bark something, Scott had been having a problem stopping his timer. Once you started, of course, you guys all know how sand timers work, right? Once you started, it's going to run. But what happens if he gets a phone call? And we finally figured it out. If we want to pause the timer, tip it towards you, because you'll know that you've paused it. this
then
way.
it stops flowing because it's jammed up.
What he has been doing is just putting it down, but then he can't tell.
I can't tell which one I was at.
Right, he can't tell if he's got this much time or this much time. So point it towards you, but the remaining time towards you, so you know. And that was pretty helpful, and it got him kind of back on track. And I will also say for James and Reagan and anybody else, especially if you're a person who knows you have ADHD, these little tiny things, I think the biggest thing from my perspective, and I don't have ADHD, I think the biggest thing it does for Scott is give him something outside of his own head that he can control. Because, like he just said, looking for that tweet about sand timers, he spent 45 minutes on Twitter because he didn't pull out a sand timer beforehand. I don't know a lot about what that's like, except for watching him, but I know it's very frustrating. So that's a good, this is a good, these are really, really nice for him because he's not... He has to he notices them. That's the thing. He notices them. And we talked a few weeks ago about why he doesn't just do it on his watch, which would buzz on his wrist and let him know. It's because it's sort of the same idea as that you can't tickle yourself. Is he knows he said it. He knows it will go off. And then it vanishes from importance.
I'll say one more thing. And Mike just mentioned that likes to use Alexa as a timer, but doesn't have any visual giveaways. I've tried using the watch timer and other timers that I can't see, except it's, if I set a 15-minute timer, it's usually about 1 minute in where I'm assuming that 14 and a half minutes has gone by and something must be wrong. So then I have to check the watch. When I check the watch, I see the timer moving, and then it's just, I can't use a timer I can't see because I can't conceptualize time, and I'm always waiting for it to go off. Where if it's a sand timer, it's just on the side of my sight, it's for simple. It's like, still sand, keep working. Still sand, keep working. I don't have to, there's no mental processing.
And know this. Sometimes he will be here with the timer and not notice for a handful of minutes. Like he can run out of the 15 minutes.
Once you get to the end of that, sometimes I go hours without realizing.
That still happens. He still can get in a rabbit hole. He can still forget to notice the physical timer, but it's far less often.
Hey, David.
Than without it.
I just did a reading group with David Lang.
Oh, hey, David.
Very lovely people who had read Earth Core, and we had a great time talking about Earth Core. So if you have a reading group and you are interested in having me talk to everybody, point to info@emptyset.com, if you guys can see that. info@emptyset.com, then that's where you can make your requests. If we can carve out time, we will. But I have 6 more books plus drafts to write in the next 2 years.
And you guys all know this. If you're here, you already know this. If you are a parent or a teacher or work in an elementary or high school in any capacity, he does Zoom calls with classrooms as well. And we've done college, we've done master's degrees, we've done PhDs, we've done him zooming into many, many, many classrooms.
She's being a bitch.
What?
Siri's being a bitch.
Oh, I was like, I didn't even do that.
No,
I don't even know what that was. But anyhow, if you're a teacher or you're a parent and you think that having Scott zoom into a classroom would be good, also email.
All right. Now it's time to go to Junkie Picks. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We only have a couple of lists, but they're great.
They're so great.
Ready?
Yeah. Well, ready when you are.
That did not work. Hold on, let's try.
So we have 2, and they're both from the Viz Cars. You guys know that John Viz Cars is our continuity czar.
What the hell? Keep talking. What the hell's going on?
And he and his, they have had he and his wife Kim are absolutely fantastic people.
Fix it right now.
And they have had a little bit of a rough couple of years. John's been through some health issues, and Kim went back to school, all this stuff, right? And had a little family, parent stuff going on. And they, and of course the pandemic that we've all been through, but they got a chance to make a trip.
There we go.
They took a cruise through Europe. And if you guys don't know any of these faces because you've never been to a Sigler Fest, Dirk Peter Schmidt is he lives in the Netherlands, and they planned to meet up. And so John is in the middle. Dirkizan is in the red, and of course Kim is the female in the photo, the woman in the photo. And this is them meeting up in Amsterdam, which I love so much. They had a junkie meetup because they are friends from the forums and from Facebook and from Sigler Junkies and from Sigler Fest, and they got together to hang out, and I love it.
Very nice, Jim. Jim says Stella wandered into his office looking for his Uncle Scott and Ann because here's the voices. We dog sit that dog.
Yeah.
This street looks very flooded. I think they've got to do something because look at those cars are barely able to. They're barely above water.
I think it's going to be fine.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I definitely do.
And then the other picture is that one too. What the hell's going on?
I don't know, but you're going to work it out and I'm going to talk. So, as I said, John and Kim finally got to go on a great vacation, and it sounds like they had a fantastic time. And the other thing they saw, we will find it shortly.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Yay!
So if you guys don't know, there's a junkie. Her name is Sherry Hare. Her husband's name is John. John is also a writer. And this is a German version of his book, which they saw in the store, obviously in a bookstore in Germany, and took a picture and sent it to us, and hopefully also sent it to John and Sherry.
That's a lot of small children getting into a V-22 Osprey helicopter. I'm sure that they are getting ready to go wreak untold damage upon some kind of enemy in the field.
I just want to point out that this die is in German, not English.
Oh!
So it might be fine.
Okay, I thought it was die from my Vulcan autocannon. That's not correct?
Definitely not anything about Vulcans or Vin Diesel.
Oh, well, that's a shame. That's truly
always
a shame.
Yeah.
Truly a shame. So that was, do you have Siglerbrations?
I just have one. And
all right.
I literally just went to the mailbox like 10 minutes ago. My friend Kim Hansen, who was in the chat room, emailed me a handful of days ago and said, hey, expect a package. And it arrived today, and I wasn't expecting this, and I love it so much. So Kim is an artist, as is her husband, and she wrote a little note, and she says, I found this old Eineth Kraken's logo online. We have no idea where this came from or whose it is, but I'll show it to you. That logo. So she found that online, and
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, we don't. And then she commissioned for my birthday, which is this month. I'll put it in front of my face because I'm so pale. A glass artist to recreate this logo.
Let me hold it up while you talk.
And it's, I'm so blown away. It's so gorgeous. It's so funky and cool. And it's just such a graceful, nice thing. Yeah, it's so lovely, and I love it so much. And Kim, thank you so much. It's so cute.
I'm looking at this and thinking of episode 3 of The Boys, and those of you who have seen it can understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead. That is Siglerbrations.
So that's my own Siglerbration, but I thought you guys would love to see it. It's just the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna put it on a different chain because it's that way. Because I always wear V-necks, and that way I can see it on my person.
There we go.
I just got it, so I had to share it with you guys.
Very nice. Yes. R.I.P. Timothy, y'all. R.I.P. Timothy. Let's go to, we are on Pupdates, and we froze. There we go. Today's Pupdate, Jim. This had nothing to do with your text. This is Cordy P. Lockett.
Yeah, this is Cordy P. Lockett. This is Cordelia. She is the goddamn dog sitters, Amy Reed and Jim Lockett, who Jim is in the chat room, and Amy is working tonight. Got this dog in the pandemic in 2020, and she's the cuddliest, nicest, sweetest, cutest puppy. She's now I think almost 3, right? Maybe 2.
She's fantastic. She's chaos on 4 legs, you guys. Let's be honest about this. She's a very lovely, sweet
and
pup.
She is so loving, and we got to have her over Memorial Day weekend. I think this is not from then. I think this is an earlier photo when she was a puppy.
Okay.
But she's just the cutest thing ever, and we love her to death.
Now the big pup pick of the week. There we go. My dog being an idiot and Squeaks just sort of hanging out. So
that's probably in the morning, and
that's nice, Tracy.
That's also not a terribly recent pick because right now Reese has a missing front tooth. Well, now not right now. She won't ever have that fixed. It's the cutest thing. I love it so much.
And we have a couple of picks from Junkie Pup Pictures, which if you want to send your pets info@emptyset.com. And dang it did it again.
I did it again. That's okay. We're going to work through it.
Keep talking here. This is easy enough to do.
Faux show.
What? This thing's been giving me trouble all day, you guys.
So, Cordy P. Lockett, who you see there, I'm the only one. I don't even know. I think I call her Cordelia Penelope, but I don't think she has a middle name. I just call her.
There we go.
Cordy.
What do we got here, babe?
So this, as you guys know, if you've been junkies for a while, this is Rich Bennett. He's fan-fucking-tastic. I love him to death. And this photo is on June 4th of this year. He had a 1-year adoptiversary with Miss Missy, which is that tiny kitten. And she got out and ran away for a few days, maybe 6 months ago, but came back, and it was heart stopping for me. I was like, oh God, he just got what? But she came back, and June 4th, that's her as a grown up. And she's the luckiest the luckiest cat on earth to live with Rich, and back home, and the cutest. Look at those eyes and that crazy red nose. So sweet.
There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, because I've been working. That is our script. I don't think we have anything left in the script. We're going to take questions now.
Oh, okay.
And also, for those of you who we don't have get the first question ready.
Okay.
We don't have a second monitor to watch the game, but I'm going to check the score right now.
Oh, yeah. The NBA Finals, you guys. That's what he's talking about. Let me grab these.
Boston's up 15-13. It's anybody's ball game. Okay, great.
So I got an enormous amount of crazy questions. I think somebody wanted to ask, I don't know. I think it might have been asking writers questions, but they're great questions, but they're not specific to Scott's books. So I think it might have been somebody doing a report or something, but I culled a couple of questions.
Hold that thought. Let me get everybody caught up. We had a couple people asking, what did you miss? First draft of Shakedown, the Crypt, book 1, has been sent out to the publisher. We are taking a couple days to chill, and then I believe this Friday we'll start working on outlining the Crypt Book 2. We have GFL Book 7 second draft is back. I have to start on that at some point, but we also have a big project waiting in the wings. We're waiting for the contract to finish up on that, so we got to kind of double Dutch wait for that to start up, and I don't want to be all the way into GFL 7 if this thing shows up, or the Crypt second draft, because then I can't stop once I'm in those. I have to finish them up to keep everything straight in my head. All right. Warriors!
Yeah, we're Warriors
Come
fans.
out and play, yay! All right, let's go.
All right.
So that's Warriors now 16, the Celtics 30. Question.
Oh, tell me again?
You had a question ready.
No, tell me again.
30-16 Celtics are up.
Godfrey Lee says, I noticed the GFL books don't share the horror aspect of the other Siglerverse books. Mm-hmm. Was that intentional or just the way it turned out?
The GFL doesn't have as much horror. No, that's intentional. Once we started to way back when, we're not getting into this right now, but originally it was the adult version, which everybody can listen to right now. Subscribe at scottsigler.com/subscribe. The adult version with all the swearing in it. We had reasons to change that to YA accessible, primarily to make the book readable by high schoolers and junior high kids who might be athletes, but not, they think they didn't like to read. So this was a tool for English teachers to use to get them to read. So when that is done, I have done horror without a lot of language, and that is the Generations trilogy. There's an enormous amount of horror in the Generations trilogy. It's very brutal, but when you are showing the really grisly stuff and the point of the story is the horror, then that kind of goes hand in hand with all the language that we might use. Say somebody, stabs you through the palm with a rusty knife. You would not probably say, "Ow, golly, that hurts." You would have a lot of expletives to throw around. So the GFL not having the expletives didn't really go with the horror. Plus, the GFL is a hero's quest. Basically, it's a hero's quest fantasy story. set in space with a backdrop of American football. It's much more Star Wars than it is anything else. So that is the focal point. If you start to bring in a lot of the horror, it's not quite the same thing.
So we've had a couple of comments in the chat room. One from Alicia says, geez, the descriptions of the in-game injuries was horror enough for me. And also, there was another one. Nico Devious says, I don't know, some of those wide receiver hit descriptions were right there with the body horror. I'm going to put Reese down because she is not on camera today. She's not having it. I tried, but she's not having it.
So that's it in a nutshell. There we go. That's the reason we don't really have a lot of horror. There's just not enough room for it. I have a huge problem in my work that I'm trying to bring too many things in at the same time. And right now we're already experiencing that with Shakedown, the Crypt Book 1. I'm not complaining. This is my style. It's fine. You guys like it. It works. But it's difficult to work in. So we've got a sci-fi story, we've got a military story, and we've got straight, crazy, cosmic horror stuff going on. Working all three of those in, and then having 5 strong point of view characters that I want you guys to care deeply about. It's an enormous amount of work to get into one thing. So you can't really keep bringing all these other influences. Yes.
So Maria, I can't recap, but I'll say you just missed Reese. I had Reese, but she was not having being on camera. She got some vaccines yesterday, and she's not happy about it.
Right. You got another
so
question?
Kim Hansen asked a while back, if you had the opportunity to live anywhere in the world for a year while writing a book that took place in that same setting,
Paris.
Where would you
Paris.
choose?
I know there's probably 8 billion horror stories set related to the catacombs in Paris. But man, once you see that shit, that thing is, you can see it on TV. You can see pictures of it. If you don't know what it is, look up the Paris catacombs. Once you have seen a large, at the time, advanced culture play a whole bunch of games with human bones, because there's just so many friggin' human bones, that affected me. It gave me a broader perspective on the fragility of life and the temporary state of everything that we have. And also, let's play with human remains. So I think that, plus, Paris has the best street sandwiches I've ever had. You're just walking down the street, there's a street vendor. I'm like, all right, that little mini baguette thing, I'll try that when I'm a little hungry, and you eat that thing, you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. So I love Paris for the human bones and also sandwiches.
I would just like to point out 2 comments in the chat room. Steve Rickenberg says, sure, it's an entire city built on skulls.
Oh, bones too. Lots of other bones too. It's not just skulls, man.
Which is probably a reason you love that town for sure. And Daryl Harris says maybe Marie's children in Paris. A great idea. But I will also say
that means we could use that whole trip as a tax write-off. You guys might get your Nocturnal sequel after all in a couple of years.
I will also say this. As much as Scott loved the catacombs, which we in 2017, we were invited to the Paris Book. Well, he was invited to the Paris Book Fair, and we went and did a catacombs tour. You had been to Paris before and seen the catacombs, right?
No. Wait.
What had you seen?
I'd seen stuff in Paris, but not the catacombs.
Oh, okay. But I also booked a tour through the sewer system, which is equally as cool. And he was the whole time he was ding, 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 ding on his phone or talking out loud. And it was very, very cool. So if you get to go to Paris, I would suggest both of those things. It was super duper fun. And if you are at all creative, apparently it gets your juices flowing for sure.
That's definitely, if you're I got it. If you are, small town American, like me, and most of the people around you have never gotten out of the country other than the military veterans, they tend to travel around a lot, is put it on your bucket list, take a trip to Europe, see a couple of different countries. Absolutely spectacular, and it was great. And also, the sandwiches were incredible, you guys. Incredible.
So you guys have some of you have probably heard this. No, go back, stay there for Brian Pierce.
Okay.
When we went to Paris for the Paris Book Fair in 2017, we arrived in Paris quite late at night, got to our hotel, which was by the Louvre, and had to go out and find something to eat before we went back to our rooms and whatever. And we exited our hotel and decided to walk this way, right? So we walked this way and kind of all the way, and we found this great restaurant that ended up being sort of right here. Like we could have like gone left and been there in 10 seconds. But no, we walked all the way around the block. And when we did that, we found what's an equivalent to a bodega or in Chicago or New York or San Francisco or like a 7-Eleven or a Wawa or something like that. And we bought all sorts of provisions in case we got hungry. And we were so charmed by all of that. We ate almost all of that.
It was 7-Eleven cheese and like the plastic container with like the plastic heat seal top. And I think came with like a little wooden spoon like to eat it. And I'm like, whatever. I love cheese. This is great. I eat convenience store food all the time. We get that back. And then we bought like a salami and some cheese and some crackers. It was the best cheese I'd had in my entire life. Like in a completely different. It was 7-Eleven cheese.
7-Eleven cheese.
French 7-Eleven cheese. It was insane. So if you like cheese, that's a perfectly valid reason to save up them pennies and go to Paris for a little bit because it's hard to find.
And we were so
food.
jet lagged that it was like, are you what? Yeah. So let's ask these Brian Pierce questions.
Okay.
You mentioned Stephen King earlier. How valuable did you find his memoir and how-to book about writing?
I have his how-to book on writing right here. It is wonderful, and there's a couple things I've taken from that have been very significant in developing my writing style. One of the biggest things is his emphasis on just the use of the word said and don't have the adverbs on said. You know, he retorted, he extorted, he hollered, he cried out with painfully. Archer makes fun of this all the time. And you don't just the word he said, she said, they said, that's it. You know, and because that becomes invisible to the eye. So that was a big thing because I have contemporaries right now who will, like you can tell they got a thesaurus out and they're finding they don't want to repeat the word said more than a couple times. So there's all kinds of different words, but those words make the reader think and process, and they make them do something that is very important to me. I try to get what I call advanced attribution. I want you to know who's talking before the dialogue shows up, or have you be able to see who's talking within, say, 3 or 4 or 5 words of the sentence. So that is important because, like, when I read The Hunger Games, I didn't like it because there were scenes with 5 characters and there would be an entire paragraph of dialogue with like 6 to 7 sentences, and you don't know who's talking till you get to the end, and then you have to go back up and reread the paragraph. And my style is to make sure you don't have to reread anything. Can if you want to, but I don't want you to have to stop. So that was very powerful for that. And the other thing, he's got this great story where he was paraphrasing. He used to be, his first job in writing was in junior high, and he just wrote for the local paper, and they sent him to cover basketball. And he wrote, of course, a very flourish-filled Stephen King style thing, even though he was very young. And he handed it to his editor. His editor's like, hold on. And his editor went through the red pen and just lined out all kinds of stuff, and then told Stephen he had to rewrite it. But he didn't have to rewrite it. It was exactly the same story with about 25-30% of the story taken out. So he had put in superfluous things that didn't need to be there, and that helped form his very streamlined, terse style, which I strive for all the time.
And is it Harlan Ellison who did that, or somebody else who gave it to somebody else to like slash?
It could be Harlan, yeah. It could be. But
no, I know it's definitely Stephen King, but I think there's another.
No, I know it's Stephen King, and it could be Harlan Ellison.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
But that's another way to do it. And you give it to somebody and they can't edit anything. All they can do is line out words. So this is a great exercise if you're writing and you've got a loved one or in a writing group. You give to them like, your only job is to line out unnecessary words, because you may think you are the most poetic motherfucker on the face of the planet. And you may be. You may have an incredible gift for flourish and a way to describe things that nobody else can do. Odds are you're not. If you're telling an action story or suspense story, all of that stuff can get in the way of your writing. So at least experiment with strip down, very terse, because the other thing that does is it draws the reader's eye through the page very fast. And then that is part of the adrenaline rush you guys get when I write that makes you continue through the story. So those are 2 big things I got from Stephen King's on writing. I don't give a shit about his memoir. I don't care. I don't read people's memoirs for the most part. I know he went through some interesting stuff, had some bad things happen and some good things happen, but his memoir won't impact the way I write, but his book on writing does impact the way I write.
For sure.
Sure.
Let's see. Stephen King says your pal Stephen King says his book is much shorter. He's giving you advice. His version is much shorter. Stop, he ejaculated.
Okay.
Which I like. Let's see.
Let's put her down.
Yeah, okay. Oh, nope. I was going to ask a question first. I got it. Let's see. Let me ask one of these crazy writing questions. What's your writing kryptonite?
My writing kryptonite is, boy, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, he said invulnerably. I think it is letting something sit the way it is. Even if I've edited things 4 or 5 times, I can attest this, I'll still go through a paragraph and still feel compelled to fuck with that paragraph and to constantly try and make that paragraph better. And that is not always necessary, especially when you've got a stripped down style like I have, that, you know, if you just say what happens in that paragraph, there will be other paragraphs coming up later where you can do all kinds of super cool shit, like really get into detail on a gory thing or a personal discovery from the point of view character. But for the most part, it makes it hard for me to edit stuff because when I go through it, I am screwing with stuff that might not need to be screwed with. That takes time. That can be a waste of time. So I think that's my biggest problem.
Yeah, and I'll second that because this is a thing, and any of you out there who are creators or creatives, as you guys know, I call myself a creative adjacent. I don't think I'm a creative person in this way, and that's not a bad thing, and nobody needs to say, no, you're definitely, I'm just not, right? That's not my vibe. What I will say is anybody who is creative has a huge problem with ending a creative project in any way, because it's sort of related to the 80-20 rule. Like if you are spending 80% of your time on 20% of your project, you're doing it wrong. Also, if you're 80% done and spending now all your time on these little minutia, it's unnecessary. Like the book can be finished, except if it's your baby, it's hard to not try and make it the best that you can make it. And that is sort of the enemy of progress and payment.
Next question.
So you can definitely put it down for
sure.
Yeah,
we remember we get paid for this shit, so you can't just dink around forever and not turn in a book. There has to be the best book you can write in the shortest amount of time you can write it, edited correctly, put out to market. You can't. If you play with it, it's going to fall off.
And
as
I will tell
as my dad used to say.
every single. I just got that. I will tell every single one of you creatives out there right now that if you have made a creative thing and put it out in the world, it's somebody's favorite thing, or it's among somebody's favorite things. So the thing you think is unfinished and not as good as it could be is quite literally someone's favorite book, someone's favorite artwork, someone's favorite whatever, and that matters. So you can rest easier maybe with that. Robin Taylor had asked about Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, and you said that cryptozoology is all real.
No, I didn't.
There, yes, you did.
That's Sean.
Sean. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So I want to talk about that because how do you feel about? Do you believe that the Loch Ness Monster or Bigfoot are real?
No, I don't. I think it's very highly improbable, but. A lot of people write cryptozoology stuff, which is very fun. Jeremy Robinson, Shannon McGuire. It's very cool, but as long as to me, that story has to incorporate why they haven't been found, why they haven't been discovered. And that can get into super cool stuff technology wise.
Yep.
But that is something that must be addressed. But I've had much more fun making up my own monsters.
And I will say this, before there were cell phones in everybody's pocket 24 hours a day, and in their hands most of that time, we saw fleeting images of Bigfoot, fleeting images of the Loch Ness Monster. We photograph and document every single thing in our lives. And since 2007, when smartphones became a thing, we haven't seen thousands of images from all the people who would have seen Bigfoot or all the people who would have seen Loch Ness. I don't think they exist because I think if they existed, we would have proof of it. Mm-hmm. We would have literally dozens of videos of it. So that's my take. Let's see.
Reagan says, this thing I talked about today, TTRPG, I've been asked to do, to participate in an online, like a streaming role-playing game thing. That'll be this Friday. I don't have the details in front of me, but it'll be the Aliens role-playing game. So I'm coming in straight cold, and it should be fun. But go to my Twitter. I'll see if I can call it up now. Go next question, babe.
If you could tell your younger writer self anything, what would it be?
Tell my younger writer self anything.
So not just once you became a writer.
I think I did a lot of stuff right that worked well for us. I think probably the biggest thing I would tell the younger version of myself is just calm the fuck down, relax. I don't believe in the adage that there's nothing new under the sun, that everything's been written before. There's nothing new to write. I don't believe that. We have new technology all the time, even though it tells the same 7 stories, all that stuff. But when you're younger and you don't have a much broader exposure to the entertainment business, it's very easy to get very frustrated when somebody puts out something that's very similar to something you put out. Oh. And that still goes on with us. Like, I've had these great ideas that I've had on the table. For like the basic one is I never got to it, but I always had the story in mind for a mafia story where you've got the mafia don in the Italian restaurant, and everything's going good. And this guy comes in, and maybe he owes money or something, and they don't come to agreement. And the guy leaves, and the mafia don's son, the crown prince, goes out and kills this guy and kills this guy's dog. And then the guy comes back for revenge. Except in my story, the guy keeps coming back because he's a zombie, and the don keeps sending people out to kill him, and he keeps coming back because he's a zombie, and all he wants is, I want the guy who killed my dog. And that's all he ever wants. And I never wrote it, and it burns me to this day I never wrote it, because then of course, John Wick, the wonderful John Wick franchise, did exactly the same thing, but without the zombies. And that's the kind of thing that can just infuriate you as a writer. You think you're never going to get your chance because your big idea was gone. So I tell my younger self, in this day and age, people don't even remember coup attempts. So, I mean, like once it's 6 months old, nobody remembers anything. Write the story you want to write, relax, finish it, put it out, write another one, finish it, put it out. The other thing I would say is stop waiting for Mr. Monopoly to show up big money bags and drop them in your pants. It's not going to happen. You are not going to be touched upon the shoulder, right? You're not Susan Collins. It's not going to happen for you. What you need to do is go to work, figure out how to write, how to edit, how to hire people to help you edit, how to hire people to do covers for you, how to put out a consistent, steady stream of product, and then learn how to market that product. Jeremy Robinson, God, who am I blanking on?
Nicholas Sansbury Smith, for sure.
Nicholas Sansbury Smith, the guys from Athon Publishing, Rhett Bruno. There are a lot of people out there who are, their job now is doing nothing but writing and marketing because they figured out how to do it on their own. They use Kindle, they used Audible, etc. So the other thing is, like, don't wait for big publishing to come to you. It's not going to happen. Figure out how to do it yourself. And then if you sell enough, they'll come after you later. That's it.
Also, you guys, my bestie Maria is in the chat room on Facebook, definitely pumping me up the whole time, which I love. You're the best. Let's see. Let me get back to those.
All right.
I got distracted.
That happens in this house.
Have you ever gotten reader's block?
Yeah. Like I was just reading through Hail Mary. I just finished Hail Mary one because it's a wonderful story. I like the characters, it's good, but I can by the 19th description of an engineering problem that had to be fixed, be scienced up. I was like, okay, I get it. So my biggest reader's block is when an author does the same thing too many times. And that I get a lot of action burnout lately. I'll read an author and there'll be an awesome action scene. And like we're a 10th through the book, then a 20th through the book, another awesome action scene. And then like, okay, now I'm halfway through the book. There's been 5 huge action scenes. All of the main characters have been in trouble, but they've taken a couple of flesh wounds, but nobody died. And I'm like, the repetition of a thing over and over again can burn me out on a book. That's the reader's kryptonite that I get. So that's
I think that's totally true because you try really hard to stay the course of a book if you're interested in it at the beginning. But
yes,
that is the thing. It absolutely pulls him out.
We got people losing. Oh, now our connection's fair. Oh, you know what it is? That's my fault, you guys. Because I had the game on the phone to see what was going on. So I'll turn this off. It's literally on our list. Wait, it's not here.
Hey,
Look,
Paul.
No, wait. Yep, phone phone Wi-Fi off. That
Hey,
has to be
Paul-
so. It should clear out now. Sorry about the choppiness. Let's try now.
Paul DeWig, I saw on Facebook that you have a celebration or potentially a Siglerbration that I wanted to get your permission to share. So I'll email you after this. But
Yep, that's what it was.
It's so lovely.
Congratulations, Paul.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
now our monitoring system has gone from fair to excellent. So that should take care of the issue. The issue is on our side. Sorry about all the bit mapping and whatever the hell you call it. A couple more questions, baby.
How do you select the names of your characters?
Selecting names of the characters, it's very different. It used to be, actually talked about this at David Lamb's conversation earlier today. It used to be, I've been writing so long, you guys, so long that I used to get out this heavy book with lots of names in it. They used to call it a naming dictionary with numbers, or perhaps you may know it as a phone book. And I pull out the phone book and I just flip through the phone book until I saw a cool name. And I do put junkies in. If you get a tattoo and he sends a picture of the tattoo and verify it with John Viscar, etc. There's nine junkie names in Shakedown. All people who have relatively recent tattoos, except Kat. Because Kat's is from 10 years ago.
Yeah, Kat Winter has been
What was the
waiting
question?
a long time.
Oh, how do I get names?
How do you...
I'll look that up too. Go to the next question. Let me call.
So
I
while
use
he's
a
doing that, I'll
random
tell you
name
this.
generator. Yeah,
He uses a random name generator. If you have a Sigler specific tattoo, you'll get in a book because of that. But he also does this. He makes sure, and this happens right before he's finished with the first draft. So he'll write the story as it is, and then one of the things he does before he turns it in for editing, first draft editing, is make sure that the names are not all that similar. And part of the reason for that is he started writing the GFL when he was, I think, 6 or 7. Like, he started the ideas of the GFL, the concept behind it when he was quite young, and he chose the Toe Pirates, which is a very common English word. Toe is spelled T-O.
Yep.
And key, which everybody on Earth spells K-E-Y, or all English speakers,
K-I,
he spelled K-I. And so there are a few things that kind of didn't work out. And the third thing is, if he ends up with 2 characters who have very similar names, like Adam and Aiden,
Got to change it.
or 2 Adams, or an Adam and an Adamson last name, he'll change some of those things too, so that you, when you're reading, don't confuse it.
So this is the site I use. This is behindthename.com, and it's got a couple of great things. You can go masculine or feminine. So it's like naming a new female character. Because the junkies' names are in it, there tends to be an enormous amount of names that are, Western European or American. So when I have a space to fill, I try, and it, like with the crypt, there's supposed to be, the crypt is military people from not only all over the world, but all over the galaxy. Then I'll just go, let's see, I only need first name only, and I want 5 of them, and surname random, and then I'll just go generate a name, and then you just...
Magdalena Radu.
Yep.
That
And
bitch
then
owes me money.
Sometimes these are cool, like Marina David, dope. And then I wouldn't use Marina David because I don't use first names as a last name because that can cause confusion. So Magdalena Radu might be in there, and then you just go back to regenerate. It does, and then let's see that they're asked about tweet. Here we go.
Oh, there it is. Nice. Nicely done.
So this is Friday Surprise One Shot Alien by Free League Publishing. I've been on one of their shows before. That will be. We are excited to welcome the best-selling horror sci-fi author for a night of horror adventure in a world of Alien, with xenomorphic nightmares, with damn at death surrealists unleashed on the players. Tune in to Twitch to find out. So there you go. That's the information that you were looking for. Watch it on Twitch. Free League Publishing. Friday, I believe there is Friday 5 p.m. Pacific. All right, baby.
Mr. Tracy Shank asks, in the original crypt, Chief Bronson McLean picks up a couple bugs and pockets them. It's not mentioned what became of them. Will that be expanded on in the new book?
No. I will. Bronson McLean is not in this one. So his whole backstory, and remember, I had like 19, 20 characters in the earlier stuff. This has 5 point of view characters. A few of those characters, all 5 of the point of view characters were in the old version that you may have heard. Some of the point of view characters are just named, they're placeholders in book 1, and they will probably get their own turn on the red carpet in book 2. So so that's it. You won't find out for a while.
So that ends Sigler in Place for tonight because it's 6:59 p.m. So we're going to close out. We're not going to stay early because we're just asking questions. If you guys have photos of your pets, photos of anything you want us to celebrate with or without photos, please send them to info@emptyset. We are continuing Sigler in Place. We decided that we would definitely do this until June, and we're discussing doing it after because I don't know how you guys are busy or not busy with the pandemic, but things are weird and open. So we'll figure that out, but we're at least doing it through June. So if you have stuff that will help us continue with content, go ahead and email that to info@emptyset. If you've already sent in your pups and your kitties and your parrots and stuff, just take another photo and send them in again.
You guys are all fantastic. You're all awesome. We're going to sign off for the night and catch the second half of the Celtics whooping the Warriors' ass. Apparently was the issue, was I had not put my phone on, not turn off Wi-Fi, and I was streaming ESPN the game through my phone. So
Richard,
we apologize.
Right,
we apologize for you guys not getting a good signal on bit mapping. We will not do that again, at least for 2 weeks until I forget about it. So
okay.
Let's go. Their close out.
So we'll be back. Yeah, that's you.
We'll be back on Wednesday, June 15th, which is International Smile Day.
We're not going to be eating on camera.
I will tell you, smiles factor in heavily to Shakedown, the Crypt Book 1. Very, 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 very heavily.
Well,
we're
going
to have so much cool merch for the Crypt, you guys. It's just going to be super fun. The T-shirts, and we're going to be working on patches with Pondy and a bunch of cool stuff. More ways for us to take your money.
Patches.
Yeah, patches. Going to get some sweet stuff going on.
Maybe look into enamel pins or something. That might
We're
be fun.
going to look into that too. Yeah. Okay.
So until then, though, we'll see you next Wednesday on an International Smile Day. But until then, we want you to stay safe.
We want you to stay smart.
We absolutely need you to stay science.
And for the love of science, we want you to stay informed. We now will tell you all that you can kiss off into the sky. Mwah!